All right, Larry Krueger from the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show with some Niner news on this day as we're talking a little bit about Jauan Jennings. The 49ers have decided to bring back Jauan Jennings for next year. And I think this is a great move for the 49ers. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig in a Pickle. Check them out, Corte Madera and in Emeryville, 2 locations in Northern California. The best barbecue in the Bay Area. But let's talk about Jauan Jennings for a minute. They tendered Jauan Jennings. They give him a 1-year deal. He was an exclusive rights free agent. And also, you probably saw earlier, Taylor Pepper gets a 3-year extension through 2025. So Pepper's back, Jennings is back. As far as Jennings is concerned, I really like this pickup. When they made it, I thought, wow, this is a really slow wide receiver. But when you talk to people who were big fans of his from Tennessee, the thing that came out over and over again was how good the Vols fans thought Jauan Jennings was. Niners took him in the 7th round, and as time goes on, that is looking more and more like a steal. So you got to love Jennings. I mean, this guy blocks. He makes catches. He'll make clutch catches, contested catches. He plays hard. He plays hurt. He blocks downfield. And this is a guy that nothing was handed to him. He was, as I said, he was a 7th round pick. He played his rookie year on the practice squad. So he was a practice squad guy year 1. And then he also battled hamstring problems early on. But man, over the last 2 seasons, Jauan Jennings, 59 receptions, 698 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. And then if you add in what he's done in the playoffs, this guy's been a proven playoff performer. 10 catches and 110 yards in the playoffs thus far in his young career. But what you got to love about Jennings, he's a culture player. This is a guy who he plays with a lot of toughness. He's a guy that will battle you on the football field, and you can bank on him in key situations. In fact, if the 49ers, you ask most Niner fans, all right, it's 3rd and 8, your season's on the line, and you can drop back to pass and throw it to anybody, who do you really have confidence in? And as much as Niner fans love George Kittle, and as much as they love Deebo Samuel, as great a ball skills as Brandon Ayuk has, I think there'll be a number of Niner fans that would say Jauan Jennings, because Jennings is trustworthy. He comes through in big moments. Now, why is that? Some guys play for the check. Some guys play for the glory. Some guys play because they're just insanely competitive and they love to win. I think that's Jauan Jennings. I mean, just the Niners have a basketball hoop in their locker room. And, this guy will get into some heated shooting contests, in the locker room shooting the basketball. If there is something to be competed for, Jauan Jennings wants to win. And you got to love guys like that. And it's funny that I think this guy ran 4.67 coming out of Tennessee, and that made him almost an undraftable prospect in a league that wants speed and more speed. But then when you put on the tape and you watch the film and you watch this guy compete and you watch this guy battle for the ball in the air, he's very, very competitive at the catch point. He runs solid routes. He keeps his feet. There's so much about the NFL, believe it or not, as a receiver, is who stays up. Can you keep your feet? It's about cutting, full speed cuts, trying to lose the corner, but also being able to keep your footing, and sometimes on some really slick fields, some really sloppy fields. Jennings plays the game on his feet. He does not fall down a lot. I mean, everybody's going to slip from time to time as the season progresses, or if you're playing in snow or really, really muddy fields. But Jennings, for the most part, keeps his footing, makes big plays on the ball, even gives you a little run after the catch ability, and he's just clutch. He is a guy that, Jimmy was looking for and Brock was looking for. In fact, to me, one of the most exciting things about Brock Purdy is his ability to win and compete and have a guy like Jauan Jennings. Why? Because Purdy is so accurate and Jennings has such a massive catch radius, and he's a big guy to begin with, that it's like shooting at a wide open bucket. Um, that it's a great when you can have the great combination of a very accurate quarterback that's going to put it on your hands and really throw it to the receivers and really throw it right in their area and doesn't make them work for it. And then you've got a receiver that can catch balls off the turf and he can leap for balls and he can catch a hard spinning ball that's twisting away from him. And he's got a gigantic catch radius. And then you got a quarterback that's accurate. That's an awesome combination. And that's what the 49ers have right now. So the Niners go into their offseason. There's a lot of questions about this roster, but there's not a lot of questions at wide receiver. You have Deebo Samuel, who's an absolute run after the catch monster. They invested a 2019 second round pick in Deebo, and he's one of the best players in the league. And he's a great run after the catch guy who breaks a lot of tackles. Then you have Brandon Ayuk, and Ayuk plucks the ball with his hands, has phenomenally strong hands, and is a really good route runner. And is probably to this point kind of a little bit underutilized, to be totally honest. Then you've got Ray McCloud, who helps you on special teams, and McCloud's got that extra gear where you could throw it to him short and where you can hand it to him in the backfield. He came up as a running back. He's very comfortable in all the gadget plays. He's a terrific return guy. He took care of the football this year. The only fumble that Ray McCloud had all year was in the Dallas game. So now you got your special team performer. You have your number one in Deebo, your number two in Ayuk, your solid number three in Jauan Jennings, who can operate from the slot at will. Then you also have Danny Gray, the rookie out of SMU, who, ran 4.33, but probably plays more like 4.2. I mean, he is just absolutely a home run hitter. So, I mean, the 49ers go into their offseason, and not to mention, I didn't even mention Tay Martin. I'm a huge fan of Tay Martin. If you followed me, you know that I'm a big fan of Tay Martin. They called him Big Play Tay in college. He started at Wazoo and transferred to Oak State. And this guy spent this year just learning the NFL speed, being on the practice squad, practicing every nuance of the game, and just getting a little better every single day. So to me, you've got 6 really solid receivers. If the 49ers decided they did not want to draft a receiver or sign a receiver in free agency, they probably could go to camp and be pretty good, pretty set. Deebo, Ayuk, Jennings, Danny Gray, Ray McCloud, Big Play Tay Martin. It's a terrific receiving core. It really is. And one that I think is going to be able to stay together for a number of years going forward. But I think the real exciting news of the day, of course, is that Jauan Jennings is back in the fold. And now there are faster receivers than Jauan Jennings. There are guys that have better measurables than Jauan Jennings. But the nice thing about Jennings is that there are very few guys who compete for the football in the air like Jauan. And then you think about some of the biggest moments in for the 49ers in the last couple seasons in the playoffs. And you need a huge third down completion or a fourth down completion to keep your offense on the field, to keep a drive alive. Who are they going to? They're going to Jauan Jennings. And he's especially good along the sideline in these comeback routes or sometimes these out routes where, he doesn't have huge speed, but he'll sell it, and then he'll have a terrific break to the outside, and then he does a phenomenal job of using his strength and his size to shield the defender away from the ball. And there's a lot of basketball in Jauan Jennings' game. He understands body positioning, and when you have a red zone, quarterback like Brock Purdy, who's incredibly accurate, and you can throw a Jauan Jennings who kind of understands almost like a power forward or a center trying to post up in the passing game, and he understands body positioning. You've got a very unstoppable combination. And I cannot wait to see what Jennings looks like working with Brock Purdy and Trey Lance for that matter. And that's the other nice thing. He's a fit for both quarterbacks. Trey throws a lot of, with a lot of velocity. And Jauan catches with his hands. He plucks the ball. He's not a body catcher. He doesn't let it come into his body or into his face mask. He plucks it with his hands. That's going to benefit him against a guy who throws fastballs like Trey. And then the huge radius combined with Brock's unbelievable accuracy, especially in the red zone, and his ability to use his body like a basketball player and shield the defender, makes the Purdy to Jennings potential in the red zone really, really exciting. So if you said to me, man, the 49ers have a huge play next year in the red zone, Brock Purdy or Trey Lance is at quarterback, and you can go to anybody, yeah, Debo's nice and he's powerful. And if you hand it to him, he might be able to run somebody over. Ayuk's probably got the best speed of the starters. Danny Gray's got legitimate game breaking speed, and Ray McLeod is not a whole lot slower than that. And despite all of the talent on this wide receiver core, I think I'm going with Jauan Jennings. That kind of radius, that kind of competitor, those kinds of hands and ball skills. I'll take my chances with that every single day. All right. Hope you enjoyed the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show video. We've got more coming up on the Niners, the Giants, and the Warriors. So always keep it locked on the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig in a Pickle.